Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna drive around a little bit with the APCs, just to see, because all infantry so far in the game will be mechanized. So they will always come with their mechanized platoons, and the Americans are sitting in the M113s, APCs, and the Russians have BMPs. So that will be interesting in itself. What we're gonna do now, I'm gonna try to show off some fighting between the APCs and also some assaults, I hope, between these two infantry platoons. There's 6 points each of the infantry platoons. And as you can see, you have checked your cards by now and seen that the tanks is a lot more. So like 3 T-72s are 12 points. So that would give you 2 infantry platoons for the Americans, for example. So the infantry is point-wise not very expensive, but they do struggle to fight through the main battle tanks by this period. Against each other, though, it can be quite a lot of action, and we will see what happens here. So we will get to it straight away. Let's ponder it's the Russians' turn, and they will go with their APCs, which starts down here. It's 4 of them. All BMP ones. They're gonna go for a road dash up the road here, and that's 12 inches. So they come screaming down the road here, and all of a sudden, oh, hang on, what's on the right there? That's an American platoon of APCs. This is highly irregular. We better do something about this. So they stream up there. Dismount and dismount, mount and dismount is basically you move. If these move first, you can't just move out of the APCs. They have to wait for the next turn to get anywhere. So it will be the next turn before they can do anything. Okay, on shooting there, most of them have a small forest in the way, so it's probably only the first one who can see anything. So he thinks, okay, if I have a shot, I will take it. And don't have a BMP card right here now, but we will. He has a low velocity 76mm gun. It would be concealed because there is a hedge in the way, so it would be a 5+, which he misses anyway. So he takes a quick shot, misses it, and that's it. Over to the American turn then. Okay, then ponder, what can they do? They can either send out their infantry straight off or try to engage the BMPs with their 50 cals. So in this case, they will say, we better start deploying our infantry from here because it can be quite dangerous to sit in these aluminum armored cars against these BMPs. So they start putting out their infantry around the vehicles like so, next to the backdoor hatches basically. There we go. Checking their movement, pretty much the same. Tactical terrain dash, cross country dash. They're gonna do a tactical move and see if they can engage something of the BMPs from here. So they move up towards this. The Dragons stay behind a bit to try to pop off some shots against the BMPs with their weapons. So there is an empty space there. Okay. On their shooting phase, let's see what they can do. They have a few Dragon missiles, guided. They all stayed outside of 8, which if they come too close, the Dragon won't arm. So there's no point in that. So that's why they stay outside that range a little bit. Always remember to see that the command distances are okay. Yeah, they are. They take 3 Dragon shots concealed against the BMPs. All should be in the front. The BMPs are hit on a 3, concealed 4s. One hit is 18. The BMP have a front armor of 2, so it goes straight through. A dragon have firepower 3. Let's say I choose the leader BMP to take the hit. As you know by now, you can do a check to see if that is a mistaken target. So the Russians tries to go for that on a 3+. Yeah. So he says, nah, it goes on this hindmost BMP instead. Goes straight through, firepower, a 4+, boom, that one gets destroyed. We roll saves for the 2 teams that are sitting in here. We have an RPG 7 team. You need a 5 to live, which he doesn't roll. And the other one, a 5, he makes it. Comes out, obviously on shaky legs, having his BMP destroyed. So he comes out pinned down. The Americans also have a team with an LRV law that they will try to shoot. They have a range of 12 inch, so they have a decent range. It's just one shot, and they also have a slow firing rule. So if you have moved and fired this weapon, you get 1+ extra. It's nothing concealing though, because it's up towards the hedge, so it's a 4+. But he fluffs it. So he misses his one shot there. Okay, now there's no, we can check quickly, is there anything we could assault, which wouldn't be a great idea to try to storm all this anyway. But there isn't, it's just too far away. It's 4 inches for assault, but we will come to that. Okay, the Russians now say, we don't like this. The Americans have engaged us, they have killed some of us, so we're gonna try to do something about it. First of all, they will see if they can unpin, which they do on a 3+, which they do. And they say, this is not something to hesitate about. Let's send out our guys. So they start offloading. Like so. Okay, on the movement phase, what is different from example frames of war is that the mechanized transport units you have for each unit can actually independently act now. They don't need to stay basically in command distances from the infantry all the time in one big blob basically. They can go about and engage targets and do their own thing. So the BMPs will do a tactical move down along the road and put themselves in positions like this. Now, in order not to go too complicated with also the BMPs and the APCs here, I will focus from now on the infantry. And the Russians, being happy chaps as they are, will say, we feel that the Americans are fairly spread out right now. I think we can smash them in an assault. So let's try that. So they will do their tactical move, which is 8 inches. It's a fair range. Going up like so. So. Just preparing their AK-47s to shoot as much as they can while they're going in. There you go. Okay, on their shooting step, what they want now is really to pin the American infantry. Going in without pinning the enemy infantry is gonna be hard, because this is a quite small Russian platoon. Normally, if you have a full-size company, you have 12 teams, then you need 8 hits to get pinned down. Now, on this size, they only need 5 hits, which most normal platoons is all they need to get pinned down and thereby not getting into the assault in the first place. So they really, no, we really should pin them down. The good thing is, though, with the AK-47, it is an assault weapon. You point it in this direction, put down the safety level to 1 step, which is automatic fire, and run ahead and just spray in front of you and try to keep the heads down of the opponents. So you have 3, 6, 9, 12 shots of AK-47s coming in. We have 8 here. And they will be hitting on 4s for most of it. We do simplify it a little bit. It could have been 5s for some of the concealed ones, but since it's a little bit all over the place, we do it on 4s right now. And they managed to get 4 hits to start with, and then we roll 4 more to get all 12. And we have 6 hits altogether. Okay, range is not that great though on these guys. It's 8 inches basically. So any teams within 8 will take hits. We go something like this. These will not be involved. So let's place it like that. Infantry save is straightforward, it's 3+. So we start with this team that had 2 hits on them. This is too close now for making any mistaken identity rolls or anything. This is just, it goes where it goes now. 2 hits on him on 3+. He rolls a 1, so he's gone. And the Americans is also pinned down. You can mark that out. On him, he is gone. On him, he is okay. On him, he is okay. And the last one, he is okay. Okay. Now they want to get into the actual nitty-gritty. This is where they take out the sharpened entrenching tools and knives and bayonets and hand grenades and everything else, and just goes down to do the business basically. So we go in. Anyone with anything within 4 inches can be an assaulting team now. Anything that is too far to get up within 4 inches will not be an assaulting team. That's how simple it is in Team Yankee. So you can quite, it's not as complex as many other games it is in assaulting step. So we check it, okay, one team can come up here. That's straightforward enough. Do we have anyone, because infantry have one special rule, and that is if a team can contact a team that is in contact with an enemy, he can also take part in this. So he can come up and help. He can come up and help here. And technically he would be able to reach here. So there's an awful lot coming down to this one poor team. Though it can be good to have a few teams coming in because they need a skill check or an assault check of 5. So we get 4 rolls on 5. And yeah, 2 6s and a 5, that will do the job quite well. So that team goes away. All right, okay, well, what can the poor Americans do? They say, we might as well try to throw back these pesky Russians, so they will roll on their counter-attack value, which is 4+ in this case, which they don't. So in this case, we're gonna play it in 2 different ways. He would make dash moves away from the winning teams, and the winning teams would consolidate 4 inches and hold the positions. If we had rolled a 4, then we would see, it's not great for them. They have lost most of their infantry already, and it can be very costly to going in. But let's say there's an objective here, and it is really desperate straits, so they really need to go in. You can check if assault 5, guided heat. Yeah, the dragon teams have to basically flung their dragons on the back and rush in. So they can get in these 2 teams, which means they get 2 rolls. Their assault value is 4, which they would have missed. Let's say they hit once. So the Russians would have to take 1 roll, get rid of that. The Russians then look at their counterattack value, which is 3. They have no problems and wanting to continue assaults. That's where they are supposed to be, basically. They roll a 1, say they roll a 3 instead. Then we'll measure, all these 3 teams would go in. He would just follow up. 3 rolls on 5s, would have missed. Americans would roll their counterattack, would roll 6, rolls, kills 1 more team. He's already in contact, we can place him there. 2 rolls for the Russians, a 6, kills another team. Once again, the Americans check, would fail. They have had enough, break off at the dash move, which is 8, and runs behind the M113s. Now, if the Americans had stayed a little bit longer and lost this team as well, they would only have 2 infantry teams left in the unit. That means that they are no longer a good-spirited unit, so they have to take a moral check, which would be on a 4 at the next starting step. A 5 would mean they are still there, but on anything else, they would have run off, and the unit would have been lost. So that's basically close combat and assaults. Very straightforward. Then again, you can mix in the APCs, all the firepower from that and so on, and having them supported the infantry and preclude most chances to get in. Then you have to knock them out first and so on. This is more to show just how the infantry against infantry would have worked straightforward. Okay, any questions on that?
When you assaulted there, did there be any defensive fire? Was that just missed off, or would there normally be defensive fire?
Yeah, no, there should be defensive fire. They are pinned down, so they will shoot. In defensive fire, you shoot your moving shots, basically. So in this case, whatever, let's say we have this team and that team left, and these guys are coming in. You go in. Defensive fire for him would be 2, and for the Dragon missile, you don't get anything in defensive fire. So he has 2 shots basically on 3+, would be 2 hits, 2 saves on 3+, they would have saved. So.
Right. And how many would you, like frames, do you need a number of hits to repel the attack potentially? Or?
Yeah. On smaller units, it's 5 hits. On units with 12 or more, it's 8 hits, basically.
Would the APCs be able to help?
They would. If the APCs are, for example, positioned like this, and you try to rush in there, any team within 8 of an assaulting team can help out. The reason is, I'm not putting that in there is because there's no assault that goes through that, because each and every one of this with a 50 cal is a rate of 3 weapons, so they would shoot 9 shots on 3+, and the assaults just breaks down. So it is always very hard to get in assaults, especially if the APCs hang around with their machine guns and so on. Just like Flames of War, but even harder than that, because you have still more rate of fire, 1 rifle teams and so on. Most weapons here have a lot of rate of fire. There's loads of light machine guns and APCs with machine guns, and even when we put in the tanks in there with their machine guns and so on. So the instances where infantry will come storming around on open countryside and getting in assaults will be quite rare, I would say, and very deadly to try to pull off. Having said that, though, for a full-size Russian BMP company is 19 points. So basically, you get for 57 points, you get the whole battalion, the company commander, and you have an awful lot of BMPs and Russian infantry coming down. So in a 100-point game, that's easily afforded, and you can just throw in a lot of stuff there. And let's face it, the BMPs have all Sager missiles, or even more nasty, what is it called, Spandra missiles on the BMP-2s. That might be wrong, but someone will correct me about those. So there's a lot of missiles coming in also in that direction. Infantry in this game will probably, at this stage, most sit in difficult terrain and hold something, and really be tricky to throw away, basically, throw out from holding an objective. let's face it, that's most of what they do in Flames of War often, also for the most of the time. So, yeah. Any more questions?
Do you have to roll counterattack every time, or is it only if you...
Counterattack every time, and you actually disregard any hits on it, yeah. I reread that many times because I'm so used to how it works in Flames of War with you have to take hits and you have to roll that and this and that, but there's nothing on that. You just roll the counterattack every turn and see if you come back in again or not, basically. If you do, it continues. If you don't, it doesn't continue. Okay.
Can you choose to break off?
You could technically, I think you can choose to break off if you want to, yeah. That one is the same. So.
All right,
I
I'm
don't know.
just
Yes?
going to jump in at that point
Yeah.
and say thank you very,
Thank you very much,
Anders. If you've missed the other videos, go back through the live blog and you'll find the video about the tanks that I mentioned at the start, the helicopters, and that was the infantry.
And that was infantry, yeah.
Class, thank you very much. I'm sure
Thank
everyone's
you.
eager to go off and...
I hope so, yeah, get loads of infantry and charge each other, because that will be loads of fun, especially the BMP horse, that will be massive.
Absolutely. Cheers guys, thanks for watching.